We got an action-packed 2 minutes today, by the way. We've got to discuss the fixtures. I'm not going to go into it in immense detail. Others will cover it elsewhere. And quite frankly, I find fixtures and kits quite boring subjects, quite frankly. So I'm gonna skim over it very, very quickly. We're going to have a look at Edin Džeko to West Ham. Probably why it won't happen. We're going to have a look at it anyway, because there's an article there to be discussed. Having left you hanging for 2 days, apart from the patrons, I discussed it last night on our Mug of Tea video. We're going to talk about not just Stuart Pearce, but the West Ham coaching setup as a whole, which I'm quite pleased with. I'm doing this at lunchtime, and I've not eaten anything, so my stomach may rumble at some point in the middle, so I apologise in advance of that. And also, probably the content that you really have all tuned in to see. And the question on everybody's lips is, what would David Moyes look like if he were Marilyn Monroe? We're going to clear that up for you straight away. Now, before I go any further, let's just have a little look at these fixtures. Newcastle is the first game of the Premier League season for West Ham United. Now, it could be worse, right? It could be worse. It could be Barcelona. Well, it couldn't be Barcelona because they'd have to change the whole league setup. But it's Newcastle, not a bad start, at home at the London Stadium. It then goes Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham, Man City, and if I'm not much mistaken, after Man City, it's Liverpool. Whey! It's a tough start. There's no doubt about it. Not going to get too down in the dumps about it, quite frankly, because it does seem to be a bit of a feature of more recent years where we have quite tough starts to the season. You've got to play everyone twice. I know it's an old cliche, and I do think next season's going to be a bit tough anyway, because I think Leeds are... Well, look, Leeds are so motivated, they're prepared to pay £25 million for a defender that was already there anyway, which is amazing, really. West Brom are going to be heavily motivated, and Fulham under Scott Parker will probably be a different proposition than the last time they were here, which when they arrived in the Premier League with a completely new team. So I think there's going to be lots of tough games. I'm not going to do the no easy game cliche, but it's no easy games. And that's it, really. Those are the fixtures. Before I get on to the coaching staff bit, and Stuart Pearce in particular, because this video is sponsored by OneFootball app, I've looked at a OneFootball article today. And the OneFootball app is downloadable in the link below. It's an app for your phone. You know this. You watch these videos every day, most of you. So bless you. Bless you. You've got nothing better to do, actually. But anyway, I've tailored it to the West Ham content. Lots of stuff about the fixtures on OneFootball today. But before all that came out, there was something that really caught my eye, and I had to laugh at. It basically said West Ham are told to put up or shut up by Roma in their pursuit of Edin Džeko. But hold on, put up or shut up? Well, number one, they sort of nicked my line, didn't they, really? They nicked my line from a video earlier. I said turn up and shut up, didn't I? But anyway, that's fine. If you want to steal my content, Roma, you're more than welcome to. Put up or shut up. It's basically saying, stop talking about Džeko. Stop it. We're not. We're not. They've made it up. They've made up that West Ham are interested in Džeko, that we're all talking about it and saying, oi, pack it in. You know, if you're not going to give us the money, then stop talking about Edin Džeko. Well, but we're not going to give you the money, and we're not talking about him. What's the money? 14 million. Now, I know that Džeko is a good player. We all saw him when he was at Manchester City. He's got a really good scoring record when he left. He's done really well in Italy. But he is 68 years of age. And as we know, David Moyes wants 10-year-olds from the Championship. He doesn't want 68-year-old pensioners from Serie A. Certainly not for 14 million quid. There's just no way. Look, we ain't got 14 million quid. If we did, we wouldn't be spending it on Džeko. It's as simple as that. But there is lots and lots of other stuff in the OneFootball app today. It has to be said. More links with Eze. They've really gone into detail about the fixtures as well. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. Battling it out with Celtic for Shane Duffy. Maybe we'll have a look at that tomorrow. Quite possibly, because I've got some thoughts, some opinions, believe it or not, on that particular subject. So, anyway, there we go. Let's get on to the coaching. I'll save the David Moyes for a little bit later. I'll tell you what, I'll just sandwich, when you're not expecting it, I'll just sandwich the David Moyes Marilyn Monroe in there. You won't even know it's happening. You say, what was that? I'll tell you what I'll do, actually. That was David Moyes as Marilyn Monroe, as you're about to see. Maybe I'll give you a little choice. You know the Joker, that film Joker with Joaquin Phoenix plays Joker. It's critically acclaimed. It's crap, right? Anyway, people love this film. People love this film. I want to know, do you want to see me, Gio, or Mike? Or I can't do Charlie, unfortunately. The reason I can't do Charlie is because he's too hairy. And on this software that basically superimposes your face on somebody else, the hair mucks it up. So now, do you want to see me, Gio, or Mike as the Joker? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe none of them. Maybe just want to say, shut up. Get on with the football. Something like that. In which case, you're probably in the wrong place. If you want me to talk about fixtures for 2 hours and not arse about and talk about a lot of comments about my microphone muff yesterday, by the way. A man's muff is his own private business. So, you know, keep it to actually, well, I've got a new one. I can't find. I've lost it. I've got a new one and I've lost it. Anyway, let's not worry about that. Right, okay. Stuart Pearce back to West Ham. I am pleased. Of course I'm pleased. You're pleased, right? Everybody's pleased. What's not to like? Myself and Gio were doing the mug of tea last night. Gio said he's got his man. David Moyes has got his man. And I do like the fact that he has... Let me close that laptop up a bit. The thing that has probably confused me slightly is he's being brought in as a defensive coach. Now, I'd be surprised if Stuart Pearce knew something about a defence that Alan Irvine and David Moyes didn't. If Stuart Pearce is going to come in and say, no, you've been doing this wrong, what needs to happen is Cresswell needs to stand there and Fredericks needs to stand there, and if you do that, it's all sorted. And then David Moyes goes, right, we've been doing the other thing. We've not been doing that. They've been standing around. We've been letting Fredericks do what he wants. We've been saying to Cresswell, just let people past you and cross it in. If that happens, I'd be surprised. So I'm not sure tactically and from a shape point of view what Stuart Pearce will add. So let me just say that first of all. I don't think that's... But I think they needed to give him a role, and I think they needed to give him a title. They couldn't give him assistant manager or whatever the case may be, or those titles were taken. When I first heard the news, I was a bit worried because I'd heard a rumour somewhere that Kevin Nolan and Paul Nevin weren't staying, that they've been courted by other clubs. So, oh no, Pearce is coming in, we're losing them. Well, that's not the case. They've signed contract extensions. That's great, because I think they're really important. I think actually they're more important than Stuart Pearce. But what it does do, it makes the whole coaching structure and the whole coaching squad, if you like, really, really strong. And I like that. And what it does is, whilst he's been given the role of defensive coach, I think he's still going to be implementing David Moyes and Irvine's instructions. But I think what it allows him to do is, as another dedicated coach, to then take that quartet, or whoever's playing as a back four in the upcoming match, take them away on the training ground and just work with them for a separate hour. Right, we're just going to drill them. We're just going to have them working on the tactics that we've got in place for the next game, and that's a good thing. What I think Stuart Pearce really brings is personality, and I like it because he gets a bit of a reputation as a tough man and psycho and this, that, and the other, and he is all of that. But actually, he is a very funny guy. He's got a lot of jokes. He's got a good sense of humour. If anybody listened to him on Talk Sport when he was on, he used to do the Alan Brazil breakfast show. He's a good laugh. Another good character to have at a training ground. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he'll take any stick or anything like that. But I just like the makeup of that, because Kevin Nolan is also a very, very big character. And I think it almost, the coaching structure ticks all the boxes. So you've got Pearce, who's almost got that legendary status. You would call him an England international of legendary status. I think it's fair to say, you know, World Cup semi-finals and all that sort of thing. Really good player. Commands respect instantly. Clearly, I'm not saying he doesn't know about being a defender. Clearly he does. But you've ticked that box. Then you've got obviously Nolan, who was a recent West Ham player and a very, very good one. A recent West Ham captain. You'd say he knows an awful lot about West Ham, and so he commands respect from that aspect of it. You got Paul Nevin, who very, very recently was working with Gareth Southgate's England squad and is a very well-respected coach, you know, tactically. And Gio mentioned on the Mugger Tea last night that he seemed to think he was doing a lot of the set-piece drills. Well, that's good. I mean, it's clearly been evident that someone's been working on some stuff, because I thought from set pieces we looked pretty dangerous last season. So I really like that. I don't know what Irvine does, but he's clearly David Moyes' trusted lieutenant, and David Moyes is clearly the manager. I just think as a team, I like it. I like the look of it. I think there's a stability about it, and I do think as a club we desperately need stability. Speaking of David Moyes,
if you dunny run, then you dunny play. Fabulous.
Don't forget, let me know about who you want to see as the next super. Maybe you just want to keep seeing David Moyes as other people. Maybe you don't want to see anybody superimposed on anybody. Anyway, I digress, as I often do. Moved on to a different tangent there. The composition of the coaching squad, I do think is good, and I like that stability, and I do think it gives the players something solid to get behind. I just think it is really, really good news. And whilst I will sit here and I will criticise David Sullivan fairly regularly, I do. That being said, I do think he's sort of swallowed his pride on a couple of occasions. And number one was bringing David Moyes in. I think it was, I don't think that was the easiest thing to do. I've said it before for both Moyes and David Sullivan, because they both had to admit they were wrong, which is not an easy thing. And I think bearing in mind Stuart Pearce has pretty much slagged David Sullivan off when he went on to Talk Sport, and he said that he didn't think David Sullivan liked him because he criticised him and that's why he wasn't getting a job. I think whether you think it was true that happened or whether it didn't, what is certainly true is that Stuart Pearce went and said that stuff publicly. For Stuart Pearce to say that publicly and then David Sullivan still to bring him back shows that actually, you know, he's not bearing a grudge on that. I think it's a good thing. And I think, as Gio alluded to last night when we did our Mugger Tea, he said it's just another feather in the cap for Moyes, really. It's got to make it a more harmonious place, that Moyes has got his man in, that David Sullivan said, yes, you can have him. And I do think that it's small steps and it's baby steps, and there's a lot to do with regard to the scouting and all of those sort of things that we've discussed on him many times before. But I do think he has now built his backroom team. And that I like. I do think that is excellent. Right. I'll leave it there. I will be back tomorrow with, well, I don't know. Who gets superimposed on who is entirely up to you.